Good morning! What is up, my makeup loving family? Today we're going to play with some new drugstore makeup, really confined to two brands that I received very recently in PR. I've got some stuff from Lottie London, which is apparently coming to Target. It is available now on Target's website. I was in Target this past weekend, definitely didn't see it in stock yet, but they say it's available at Target. So we've got a handful of different things there. And the reason why I really wanted to jump on this brand really excited me when I first tried it, and it came out at Ulta. So it's available there as well, probably a little wider product selection there at Ulta. But you may recall the video I did a while back on that line, because it was like, I tried this new brand and I actually liked everything I used, like really good experiences. And then I've also got some new things from NYX, some new kind of complexion related things from their Bear With Me line. So we are going to jump in and play with these products. It's gonna amount to probably a pretty natural look because I was using this stuff already last couple of days, and it's pretty natural. But today is actually my first day using this, and I don't know how I overlooked this in my little bag that I condensed things into, but I hadn't used this. It's the Bear With Me Hydrating Jelly Primer. So this is the first step in the new little NYX routine, and it is very like, ew, it really does feel like jelly. Okay, it's almost a little hard to pick up, but it's like clear and hopefully hydrating. Feels like it's kind of hanging together across the skin. Maybe a little bit more than a lightweight moisturizer, honestly. You know how sometimes you feel like the moisturizer off of your hands is just immediately disappearing away into your skin? And this feels slightly more heavy duty than that. Now, I already had moisturizer on. I've already got my sunscreen on. I've done, you know, my eye cream, my skincare steps, but they're calling this a hydrating jelly primer. So that's what we're considering that step to be. I feel very, very hydrated, even just a little dewy to the touch. Next step here, we have a tinted skin veil, and this is in the shade Natural Soft Beige. It says provides a fresh face look, evens out skin tone, provides seamless coverage. What does seamless coverage really mean anyway? Not full coverage, you know, because this is not a full coverage product. This is very light coverage. Maybe they just mean like it's so light you're not gonna see many lines of demarcation or something. I don't know. We're gonna use like a large pearl-sized amount here and just kind of patch it around on the skin. They sent me 3 shades, and this soft beige, well, might not appear to be super on point right now. It's pretty forgiving because it's so sheer, and it's just the closest match of anything that was sent. I'm gonna blend this out with my F84 foundation brush from Sigma. And you can see, I think you'll be able to see a little evening out of my overall skin tone here. It is gonna be a light coverage product, and even if you do attempt to build it in some areas, it's not gonna change too much from that. It's just the whole aesthetic of this little mini line they've put out, you know? I think it did help me dial back the redness a little bit around my nose area, and a little more evenness just overall. And the other day, using it without this underneath and just like, I don't know, my regular skincare, it felt like this left me lightly hydrated. I don't know if I'd consider this to be just like a BB cream. I think if you're normal or dry skin, you definitely want some extra moisturizer underneath it. Maybe if you're super oily, this could be enough, but it's kind of hard to tell. Now, I do want to pull in a concealer. There wasn't like a new concealer sent to me, but I remembered I had this, and it's the NYX Can't Stop, Won't Stop. So we're just gonna play with this and see if this can give us some satisfying like under eye coverage and around the nose coverage. So many friggin' videos I'm excited to shoot. My Sephora haul came, the stuff that I got from the sale. It's so funny, I kept getting sidetracked. I was able to shop like during the Rouge part of it, but it's like I barely had the time to complete a freaking order. I would sit there and think, okay, I'm gonna go through the website and find what I wanna find, and then something would happen and I'd have to run over here, and I kept getting sidetracked on my ordering process. Anyway, that came in. I've got a very exciting new brand to explore. I also really want to do a look on what I was wearing in the lip try-on video. I had an Instagram picture up of that look, and I got a ton of questions about the eyes and just the face makeup and how everything came together, and I think that really warrants a tutorial, and it can also maybe double as my review for the IT Cosmetics Confidence in a Foundation. So that's another one I've got just cooking right around the corner. So this Can't Stop Won't Stop, I feel like I used this probably right away when it came, and I kind of set it aside. I feel like it does not quite have the coverage of like the new e.l.f. Camo Concealer or the new L'Oreal Concealer. You know, the full coverage one with the buckfoot applicator. I just feel like I can see a little bit still, and it looks very dry, even though I was super hydrated in this area. And I don't feel dry to the touch, which is weird, but I look up close and it's like kind of a clingy texture situation and not completely covering up the darkness. There was no like powder scent with this stuff, but I still want to set my under eye a little bit. I'm grabbing out my MAC Next to Nothing powder. This is in the shade Light Plus. I really like this powder. Ever since I heard Dustin Hunter talk about it, I was like, yeah, that sounds like the kind of powder I would enjoy. And I do. It's a nice quick under eye setting thing. It's kind of helping the concealer just a little bit. And just for staying power's sake, I'm going to add a little on my T-zone. Because like I said, that hydrating jelly was very hydrating. So I feel like I can use that little extra setting help. Now, the other part of the NYX stuff are these Bear With Me hydrating cheek tints. These kind of remind me a little bit of like the Onami lip cheek stains. These don't really claim to be a lip product, but I think they could totally work as such because they're very much not a cream to powder type blush stick texture. You know what I'm saying? They're more like a gel stick. They're very vibrant in color, so you just got to watch out for that. But some people might say, well, you just applied powder, now you're going to go over that with cream. And I get questioned on this sometimes, but I think the only time that you're really going to run into an issue with that is if you are really applying a lot of powder. See, the amount of powder I applied, I may have affected, you know, the tackiness right here on my under eye area, but elsewhere on my face, I do not have like a noticeable amount of powder on there. There's no thickness of powder, and so therefore any cream I put on, like I have no issue blending it out or a cream product looking more obvious because it went over a powder. I really don't tend to apply enough powder for that to become a thing. But let's see, yesterday I wore this one. I'm not really feeling the orange with some of the other tones we're going to be using in this look. We'll do the one called Do Me Right. This looks like a berry, and this will really tell us like how well it can blend because this is the deepest. There's a little like sub cap which I'm keeping on here because I think it might be there for a reason to, you know, really help the product stay nice and moist. I'm going to go one cheek at a time with this today, not applying too much, and using this synthetic Sephora brush to help me out a bit here. Like, see how it's kind of clinging into the one area. It's a pretty color and it looks fresh, but not quite as easily blendable as one of the sticks from Onami. There we go. And all of these colors seem to be pretty vibrant, like even the little bit lighter pink. But I think you just definitely don't want to wait too long on your blending. And let's just, while we're hanging out here, I don't know why they didn't market this, like they don't put anything about it being a lip tint, but it's totally the texture that would work because it'll kind of, I think, stain your lips a little bit and not go to that powdery place. It won't feel too dry going across the lips. I'm going to try like just sweeping my brush over it a little bit and adding a bit more up in here. I want to go a little higher on the cheek. I'm just scared that I'm going to mess up my concealer. Pretty color, I must say. It's just, it's a texture that's a little tricky. So guys, that's pretty much the extent of the Bear With Me stuff. It's the jelly primer, the tinted skin veil. They've got the 3 different blush options, and then there is one more thing. It's a prime, set, and refresh. I guess I should have put that on maybe to start as well, but I'll definitely use that at the end of all the face steps. But now, moving on to Lottie London, they sent a couple of blushes, one that I actually already had, so I'm gonna give the other one away. But the shade Drake, these are such pretty blushes, very pigmented, and they also sent this time the one called Zac. Deeper, more berry-ish, and I thought if I want to use a little bronzer for this look, which I think I do, I already had the Tan Time bronzer from Ulta. This is in the light medium shade, and I think I may actually kind of dust a little bit of that on. It's pretty dark for like a light medium description, but I like the tone. It works pretty well on my skin. I'm not really going to try to contour with this, but I'm going to let a little bit of the bronzer come down this direction. But I was kind of surprised the other day when I was wearing that Bear With Me skin tint, like just how satisfied I really was with that level of coverage. You know, once your whole look comes together and you use a little concealer and you get your blush on and everything, it's the kind of thing you might look at it when it's first applied and have some doubts, but it's like finish your makeup look first and see how all the other rolls come in to help, and you kind of realize, oh, I can get away with that lighter coverage. So that was the Tan Time Bronzer, not sent in the new Target Roundup of Lottie London. Oh my gosh, that freaked me out.
Sorry, it's just me.
Love tons, see ya. It's 5:30 right now, so Bub really, I wasn't expecting a little knock on the door, but he has to leave early. Is my camera cockeyed? It's good to notice that about 15 minutes in. I'm gonna use some of this Drake shade, which I think is so pretty. And I'm just like popping a little bit on top of that other blush. Not that it was totally needed, but I have it, and I like the soft glow that these Lottie London blushes have. Just nice pigmentation, easy to apply, no-brainer blush right here. And then another part of my little Target selection is this Shimmer Squad palette. It's a highlighting palette, and we have a variety of tones here. We've got more of a, like a little bit deeper goldeny bronze, but it doesn't look too dark. I think I'm gonna try a little bit of this shade called the Good Girl and apply that right in this zone. Very brightening, nice texture. I mean, Lottie London has some good stuff. They are a really strong, pretty consistent brand, I must say. And there's so many highlights on the market, like you gotta be pretty good to stand out. This is very, very dewy looking. And then there's even a lighter one yet. I was playing with that one yesterday too, and I looked, in broad daylight, I looked so glowy. I think that's plenty for me right now there. And I'm gonna apply some of that setting mist. Now this setting spray, they say multitasking spray, sensitive skin friendly. And I think they might be saying that because I can hardly detect a scent with this. Let's go ahead and spray some on. Really nice fine mist. Maybe just the softest of scents, like you're barely gonna notice. A little bit of a fresh scent, but it's hard to put your finger on. And you know, there are some setting sprays that are very heavily scented, certain ones that I love, but I understand, like, especially if you're a makeup artist and you don't know exactly like what your client goes for, it would probably be really good to use a spray that didn't have much of a scent whatsoever, and that's kind of what this is. Now we're gonna do brows, and this is the Lottie London Arch Rival. It says microblade effect, and I struggled with this a little bit yesterday, but I'm gonna try it again today. I have the shade Soft Brown. I don't think there's any other shade that they sent me that really would work for me, but it's a brow marker with these three little, you know, it's like a little brow fork, an angled brow fork, and it deposits a lot in my brows. I feel like there have been little like felt tip brow markers that I've used here and there that just haven't shown up quite so much, but this shows up a lot, and it's hard to go soft with it. Even this shade called Soft Brown in my dark brows, I feel like is really, really showing up a lot. So I'm starting kind of in the thickest part of my brow, right in the middle, and sort of warming myself up there, because I know if I go right in on the innermost part, it's gonna be dark. But I'm not saying this is a bad product or anything, I just think it's a challenge. I don't know how someone who maybe had hardly any brow would feel with this, like recreating a brow with it. You might be very satisfied at how quickly, you know, you get results, because it really does show up. Like, let me just show you here. Like, you can create the lines and they very much show. So I am applying the lightest pressure right here on the innermost part. I just want to fill that out a little more. I'm having better luck with this today, because the other day I assumed it was going to be more subtle than it was, and that's where I ran into trouble. Now I am fully aware what it's capable of. I think we're going to leave it there. I don't want to mess with that anymore. Now this is just basically an inky type of pen, so you're probably going to want to go in and set your brows. Like, if you really rely on a gel to keep things in place, you'll want to go in and add that. So I'm just doing normal pressure right in here, because again, I know I've got the thickness and it can handle it, but really nice, light, barely applying pressure. You just gotta have a little finesse with some products, you know? I'm using it kind of like vertically at the tip, and I'm sort of liking the effect I'm getting there. You know, it's really light if you just work off of the tippy tip. Okay, I think I've mastered you, arch rival. Microbladed. I've never been microbladed before, so now I get to enjoy the microblade effect I never knew about. I'm gonna do a little bit of this Brow Stylist Boost and Set. This is just the clear, just so I have a little better staying power. I mean, I know there is some product in my brows from that, but I don't quite trust it to hold all day. I feel so fresh. Like, now to look at my face, I almost feel like I could skip eyes and just kind of stop here because I'm so happy with, I don't know, the way the cheeks look, the way the skin looks overall. But don't worry, gang, I'm not gonna leave you hanging on the eyes. They sent an eye palette. It is the Shadow Swatch eye palette in the rose golds. This very much reminds me of like a Naked 3 type vibe with this palette. As I was playing with it yesterday, I really came to realize that it's going to amount to a pretty subtle look. There's a lot of taupe in here. The rosy shades aren't too pinky or too pronounced, you know. I think softness is the name of the game really with what that's going to do. I had actually tried a Lottie London palette before, back in that original video. I got the rusts and really enjoyed the quality of this palette, so kind of a warm color scheme overall. But yeah, we're going to go for this. I'm going to put on some Milani eyeshadow primer first. Has anybody seen Lottie London in their Target yet? Or I wonder if they're gonna sort of phase their way in as an online brand first. You know that song, Working on the Night Shift, Baby? It's a country song, in case you couldn't tell. I can't get that out of my head. It's been in my head for like 3 straight days. Somebody help me. Give me a new song. We've got kind of a nice little spread of some mattes in here. I think I'm gonna go, to kind of get the crease going here, I'm gonna go for this shade. I'm trying to be conscious of letting you see the palette as the brush goes in, because sometimes I hold it way out in left field and nobody can see. So these, to me, seem to be really smooth, nicely pigmented shadows. I don't struggle to work with them. I like the color schemes. It's really funny bringing up Naked 3 because I have not used that palette in so long. Talk about it like a good shop my stash old product candidate there, right? But this gives me very much that kind of look. You know, you got your really, really deep shade that's like a little bit plummy and shimmery. I feel like some of the lighter shimmers in this palette don't really go as far in terms of a metallic look like certain shades in Naked 3. But as far as overall color scheme, they're pretty similar. All right, now that I've got that in the crease, I think I'm gonna go to the shade that's right next door, which is a little lighter, and I'm gonna let that kind of sort of blend up a bit. I'm trying to be less fearful of bringing colors right in here. Sometimes I just worry they look awkward or don't fully blend, and I don't know. But this shade is kind of nice because it's transitioning me away from the deeper color. And then while we're at it, while we're working that direction, I'll just go ahead and highlight with this matte. We could use the shade names. This one's called Lily, I think. It's hard when they're on the back. Too much effort. I feel like I want to deepen up that crease even more. I'm thinking about going to this shade right here. See how it's like, it's a little taupey, a little plummy. It's got a little shimmer, but I ain't scared of that. And we'll let that come into our crease too. I think it's kind of funny that this is called the Rose Golds because there's one shade in here that would actually make me think rose gold, and absolutely everything else is just simply like dusty rose. I call it the Dusty Rose palette myself. Thinking about trying to build up some real like light shimmer with this color on the lid, and I was working with the brush provided and it wasn't doing a great job. I think this will do good around the inner corner, but packing on it wasn't quite stiff enough. We also do have a sponge tip here. But I'm going to try my e.l.f. flat brush today, going in with this light shade that is very frosty looking. And this shade is a little tough. It's not quite showing up as much as I'd like, and some of the shimmer is just kind of dusting away. So that would be, I think, the slight weakness in this palette. Because a lot of the mattes are good, a lot of the more mid-tony shimmers are good, but this even right on top of that primer, you know, that usually can grab most things. I'm packing it on and I'm getting a little bit of a, you know, powder floating around effect. I'm 2 for 2 on days struggling with that shade. And then let's try a little bit of this cool gray down here at the end. It looks like it has a satin finish to it. That color's doing pretty much what I would expect it to do. I'm just doing a little patting motion with it. Just packing it on the outer part. I think I may also just use that color with a pencil brush, just to give some definition under the eye too. I feel kind of like just leaving it there today because I know, I mean, no liner came with this. I'm not going to pull in an extra liner. I'm just going to do a little light liner in the lower inner rim, go in with some mascara, which nobody sent a new mascara, so that's good. I can stay disciplined with using the mascaras I have. This is one I'm actually very close to using up. I like it. It reminds me a lot of IT Cosmetics Superhero. It's the Hourglass Caution Extreme Lash Mascara. So I'm going to use that on the upper lashes, my Thrive Liquid Lash Extensions on the lower lashes, Wet n Wild Ultimate Brow Highlight in the inner rim, and then we'll come back and we'll play with some lip products. Alrighty guys, so I got my mascara on top and bottom and that light liner in the lower inner rim. I feel happy enough with the eye look, and it's like so much of this palette performs well. It's going to be a natural kind of cool taupey look, verging on rosy with some of your options that you have here. You do have this one shade that I mentioned. There's one color that looks rose gold. This one right here kind of gives you some of that, but all in all a pretty cool palette. It's just a little disappointing that their one kind of most shimmery statement shade is very, very dusty. But just for the record, on this other palette, the Rusts, I didn't run into a single shade that was that way in this palette. So just FYI. Now for lip colors, they sent a couple of different things. We have these glossed gloss oil tints here. These are very sheer. They're fine, like they're comfortable on the lips, but they don't give me a lot. So we're gonna do the Slay All Day lip kit in the shade Work It. I really do like the color of this. The staying power is not necessarily above and beyond. Might just because this is more of a nude shade. It just doesn't seem to hang around as long as some really long wearing lip colors, like one from Maybelline, let's say. But we are going to pop this on. We've got the lip liner here. It seems to go on easily and smoothly, so let's do that. It's times like these when I realize I don't really use lip liner that much. Sometimes, but... Oh no, look what just happened. Got a little too vigorous there and the tip broke off. What do I do? Doesn't twist up. It's plastic up there, guys. Oh, this is an awkward situation. This is why we watch, don't we? See if I can cope with these kinds of things. It is it shaving off some? Yes, it is. Okay, it is a fully sharpenable, seemingly plasticky pencil. Weird. There we go. Okay, we're back in business. I hope that's the biggest freak out I have all day. My lips aren't super hydrated right now, so there is a little drag, but I know the product overall is creamy. Just get a little impatient sometimes, press a little hard. You guys, I'm 15 weeks pregnant and my app says the baby is the size of a navel orange. I feel like time is going fast. We're gonna call it a day on that lip liner. I do really like the color. Just watch out, don't press too hard. I already had some of this on, which again, I think these products make good lip stains too. They're just a good texture that would really translate to both. But we're gonna pop on this Slay All Day Longwear Matte Liquid Lipstick. And the color on the tube makes it look like it might be a little more brownish, but just look at the way it goes on. It's like a, I don't know, kind of a nice little bit hint of dusty rosy nude. It has kind of a not super liquidy, almost a little bit mousse-like texture. And seems just a little cooler and a hint lighter than the lip liner that was applied. Everything they sent, I must say, works pretty harmoniously together. Like this lip color, this dusty rose kind of eyeshadow palette. Either of these blushes, I've worn the deeper one, it's really nice too. Just a nice overall look here, I'm feeling. The dry down on there is definitely underway. It's sucking my lips in a little bit. It's doing a little bit of shrink wrapping, but It's not out of control, and I do really like that color. So how do we feel about everything, guys? I really come away feeling like, dang, I can take a little lighter coverage look, especially once all the other face elements come together. I look at my face and I think, wow, you know, this is all right. I'm cool with this. I will probably wear this more. I think it would have been cool if there was SPF in this product, but I will still, you know, layer my SPF underneath. This hydrating jelly primer, I'm really interested to try this under some other foundations too, because it really did give me some moisture. I'm kind of digging both of those steps, and these as well, except I think you gotta work a little bit quickly to use them on the cheeks. If you're not really comfortable with cream blushes already, I mean, this is not one of the easiest ones to work with, I would say that, but at the same time, I do think they can double nicely on the lips. And the spray, you know, they talk about it working well for sensitive skin. I believe that. It's not heavily fragranced. It says prime, set, refresh, up to 8 hours of hydration. Just a good general mist that isn't overly scented, which really the scent on a lot of these mists seems to be a claim to fame for some of them. So if you really don't want to go that direction, maybe try the NYX. The Lottie London stuff, I love the Blush Crush blushes. This is the type of thing where I really like both the shades that I have, which are Drake and Zac. Drake is kind of that classic peachy pink satin finish. Zac seems to be a little more matte, not quite so much sheen, more of a berry, but this is the kind of brand where I really like their formula and I would seek out more of these. The Slay All Day Lip Kit is not like changing the game of liquid lipsticks by any means. It feels pretty dry on my lips right now, doesn't have insane staying power. It kind of worked to pull this whole look together, but I'm not like shouting that one from the rooftops. The eyebrow thing, I think I'm going to continue using this and working this in because I feel like I'm getting more comfortable with it. It's just at first application, be aware of how gentle you need to be in certain parts of your brow where you don't, you know, want all the heavy darkness, like maybe the innermost part. Go very light. But it has worn really well on me all day. It's an adjustment type of product. Oh, I like the highlighting palette. I think that's very glowy. I think it gives you a variety of depths. Shadow-wise, I mean, you be the judge. Do you like this color scheme? Do you like, you know, the finished look that I turned out? It's that pretty basic hint of rose, kind of cool. One dud shade, what you gonna do? How much are they charging for that palette anyway? $9.99, not bad. But yeah, let me know your feedback in the comments section. I so appreciate you guys taking time to watch. I'm so excited for you to see some of my upcoming videos, and I will talk to you again very soon. Bye.